What's going on, everybody? Welcome to TB's Gun Reviews. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Taurus GX4, and we're going to see how it stacks up against the Sig Sauer P365. I feel this should be a good comparison because these are all very similar firearms. However, there is one significant difference, and that is the price. We'll take a look at each gun individually, and then we'll get them all together and see how they stack up against each other. Lastly, at the end of the video, I'll tell you how I would spend my hard-earned money and why. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start out by taking a look at the Sig Sauer P365 since, well, it's the one defending its title. This here is the XMacro, and this is the largest version if you exclude the fuse, which I have some thoughts about, but we won't talk about that here. This configuration we're looking at here is known as the XMacro. This is the 17-round version. The gun can be assembled in several different ways. Aside from the XMacro, you have the P365X, and you also have the standard P365. So the XMacro here is one of my favorite carry guns. It's just the perfect size. I like the texture, I like the grip angle. Overall style, it's a little antiquated, but you know, it gets the job done. It's a good looking gun. Shoot it well. It has a lot of really nice features here. You got the 1913 Picatinny rail on the front, which is good for a light accessory. It comes with the RMSC shield optics cut. It has tritium front and rear sights, which is quite nice. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the trigger here. So it has a pretty clean break. Notice I'm struggling to rack the slide a little bit here. Anyway, that's the reset. And then again, pretty crisp break. Not too much take up. Overall, it has a pretty good trigger on it. And then here we have the standard P365. In this configuration, it comes with a shorter slide and barrel, and it holds 10 rounds with a flush fit magazine here. Aside from that, it's pretty much the same gun. The trigger feels the same. Notice this one has a curved trigger, where the XMacro has the flat face trigger. Also on this, we have the RMSC shield optics cut. We have the tritium front sight there. We have the tritium back sights. Now, unfortunately, the standard P365 as well as the X and the XL comes with a proprietary light rail, so your 1913 style light is not going to fit in this configuration. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the contender here. This is the Taurus GX4, and it's currently in the XL form. Now, I'm going to spend a little more time talking about this one because, well, it's the new kid on the block, and let's face it, if you haven't heard of the 365, then you're living in the dark ages. So this here is also a striker fire 9mm pistol. It comes in a couple of different versions, and a lot of people may not know this, but this is also modular like the P365, meaning that it has a serialized chassis you can take out and swap into different grip modules. When I bought this gun, it came with a black module, but I swapped it over to this olive drab green, which I really like. It's very ergonomic, it's comfortable, it has a great texture. The sights leave a little bit to be desired. Here we have a blacked out rear and then a whited out front sight. Overall fit and finish of the gun is good. You'll find the finish on the actual slide is not quite as durable as the Sig. But aside from that, you know, it's a good looking gun. It has good serrations on it. It's easy to grab. It's easy to rack. It's a good shooting little gun. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trigger here. So these have surprisingly good triggers. That's a pretty clean break there. Fairly short reset. And then again, nice crisp break. Now you'll notice that this slide here was a lot easier to rack than the Sig. Now to break down the GX4, you need a tool, and this is kind of a bummer because when I was filming this video I had to stop and go hunt down a little screwdriver. So the Sig definitely has it beat, but once you twist that little slide release off, pop on the new slide, and then we'll pop in the flush fit magazine, and now we have it in its just standard GX4 form, which I'd say is a very similar comparison to the 365 standard here. So where the Sig wins is the takedown. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So this is a toolless takedown here. You just have to rack the slide back, lock it, flip down the slide release here, pull the lever and off she comes. So a piece of cake. Then to put it back on, you just slide it back on, flip that lever up, and then hit the slide release, and that's it. So a little bit easier on the Sig in my opinion. So anyway, let's grab the GX4 here and we'll take a look at how they stack up size-wide. Now I'd like to mention that the GX4 with this flush fit magazine comes with an 11 round capacity, where the Sig here is only 10, so you get one more round with the GX4. Aside from that, they're pretty similar in size. You'll find the Sig is just a little tiny bit slimmer and maybe just a little bit shorter. I should probably also mention that the GX4 here, this is the standard version and it does not have an optics cut. Aside from that, pretty similar guns here. Alright, we're back to the XL form of the GX4 and we're going to compare it to the XMacro here. So they're pretty similar in size. Notice they're about the same length. With that beaver tail, the Sig is just a little bit longer. It's also a little bit slimmer than the GX4. But you do have the Toro version here, which means it's the Taurus optics ready option, so you have that RMSC shield optics cut. Again, the Sig is just a little tiny bit slimmer, you know, not much, but the overall length and height are, you know, pretty close. So overall, you can see these are very similar guns. It's pretty obvious that Taurus developed this pistol to compete directly with the P365 line. Where does it excel? Well, the price, first of all, this gun is significantly cheaper. I think I paid $250 for this, so it's dirt cheap compared to the XMacro, which, you know, these run $700-800. Is it that much better than the Taurus? Honestly, it isn't. I mean, the overall quality is probably a little bit better, but for the price, this GX4 shoots just as good. So I guess the nagging question is it reliable? Is it worth the money? To be honest with you, I haven't had a single malfunction with this gun. Got close to 1,000 rounds. Is the overall quality as good as the Sig? Probably not. But aside from that, for the money, you definitely can't go wrong with the Taurus GX4. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time. TB out.